Hello and welcome back to Brau's ERP Corner, the channel where you learn everything about ERPs. In our previous video we explored the sales order document, focusing on the header, covering customer information, order date and other critical details. Today we are continuing our deep dive into sales order by examining the list of line items and the footer. We'll discuss how to specify products, quantities, unit prices and line totals. Plus, we'll look at important footer details like shipping method, taxes, discounts and overall total amount. Understanding these sections is crucial for managing your sales effectively within your ERP system. So let's get started and complete our comprehensive overview of the sales order document. Let's now take a look at the list of line items. First of all, we have a field with a number that identifies the sales order line. We'll keep linked all the lines in other sales documents that are related to this sales order line. For example, an order line will be linked to a line in an invoice and a line in a shipping packing list. More complex combinations are also possible, like for example, a sales order line might be shipped in multiple shipments because of shipping constraints or because the customer asked for staggered deliveries. And subsequently, in the same example, we might want to invoice the customer for each shipment that we take, to avoid delaying charging the customer account with the price of the goods that have already been shipped. Then we have an item number that identifies the product being sold, sometimes called the SKU number, where SKU stands for stock keeping unit. Then more in the middle of the screen we have the description of the item being sold to simplify the reading of the sales order. It also remarks that follow the sales order line through the sales, shipping and invoicing process, and that serve as a guide to the company users processing the sale and also to the customer that will receive the sales order as a confirmation that their order has been taken. In good ERP systems, there is a system of alerts and messages which automatically includes specific remarks triggered by the customers and/or item, or both. Alerts are seen only by the users of the company using the ERP, while messages are also seen by the customers and serve the purpose of alerting the customer about important conditions that apply to a sales order line or to the entire sales order. An example of this could be keep merchandise always below 32 degrees. Then we have the warehouse from which this order line will be shipped. A good ERP system should allow for different lines of the same sale order to be shipped from a different warehouse. After that, we have an exempt flag that indicates if a specific order line is exempt from taxes. This is usually determined by the item being sold in that line, because some items can be declared as tax exempt. Then where I'm pointing right now, we have fields that indicate the status of the order line, including the original ordered quantity and the summarized quantities already shipped and invoiced in other sales document related or linked to this line. And also if the line is totally or partially on backorder, possibly due to low inventory, which is indicated by displaying the quantity that is on backorder. Then we can also see the quantity sold in this line, including the unit type in which that quantity, for example, pounds or inches. And I think that you have to know that a good ERP software will allow order lines to be taken in a different unit than the one that is used to keep the inventory of the item in that line. Also, unit conversions as well as price conversions when the units are changed must be done automatically. For example, you could keep the inventory of the item in feet, but sometimes want to sell the item in yards. For example, if the customer requires the sale to be processed in yards. A unit price for the item sold in the sales order line. Then we can also see a unit price for the item sold in the sales order line, because a good ERP system must bring the price automatically and keep the prices per price list. For example, local prices or export prices, and keep the prices per price list, per item and per customers. So, special deals and pricing can be agreed with the customers. The prices in a good ERP must also allow for price breaks for different quantity levels. And the prices must be automatically converted when they are specified for different units than the one in the sales order line. For example, a price per quart must be automatically convert the equivalent price per gallon if the unit type of the line is gallon instead of quarter. And finally, we have a line total, which is the product of the line quantity times the unit price of the item line. And now that we are done with the list of line items, let's examine the footer of the sales order. First of all, we have a method of shipment, often called the ship via method, which in a good ERP has an associated price, for example, a price per pound. So the system can calculate the shipping total cost by multiplying the price per pound times the total weight of the merchandise in all the lines of the order. A good ERP system should also provide for online on-the-fly queries of the shipping rates to the most popular shopping carriers like FedEx, UPS and the USPS. Secondly, the sales order footer must also provide for the specification of a discount by specifying a percentage discount or a discount amount. The orders should also specify terms for prompt payment discounts that are determined at the moment of the sale, but that will only determine the amount to be discounted when the order has been invoiced and the payment from the customer has been received. Depending on the date that payment is received, the prompt payment discount will apply or not. And finally, the footer must also provide for specifying a task to be applied, which normally is determined by the customer record or by the shipping address of the order. As you can see, avoiding navigation can be done up to a certain limit. For example, including the full shipping address to which the order has to be sent uses a lot of screen space, so the shipping address might need some navigation to be displayed. What is very important to know is how and when the system forces you to navigate, because an ERP design is best when it minimizes the need for navigation, because the most frequently needed fields are on the main document screen. Designing a complex ERP screen is an art, but it involves a lot of experience too. You have to be working with users in company with many different business models. When saved, the sales order registers the sale in the database of the company. Sales orders don't affect the balance of the customer that placed the order or the inventory of the item sold, because they do not command or reflect the movement of the merchandise. But they do commit or promise merchandise that is in the inventory and free to be committed to this order. Or they start the procurement process when the goods sold needs to be purchased or manufactured in order to ship what was sold with this sales order. A good ERP system must allow to ship and invoice the sale in any date order. In some cases, invoicing the customer and even sometimes receiving payment is a requisite for the shipment to be processed and vice versa. In the case of multiple partial shipments and or multiple invoices, a good ERP system must allow those invoices and shipping packing lists to be entered in any date order, as circumstances determine in each sale. But a good ERP system must also allow for the establishment of rules that govern and limit what users can do in those cases. For example, a rule that a certain company could set is to never ship anything that hasn't been already invoiced, or to never ship more or less than what was ordered, or to only invoice orders that has already been shipped. The diversity of business models and specific situations that define how different companies do business must all be properly contemplated by a good ERP system. Immediately after being saved, the sales order is pending shipment and pending invoicing, that is, to complete the sale. You will need to ship the merchandise sold, adjusting your inventory accordingly, and you will need to invoice the customer for the merchandise sold, updating the running balance of the customer accordingly. But while the sales order does not affect your inventory because the items sold have not yet been shipped, so they don't need to be removed from your existing inventory. In a good ERP, the sales order will commit or promise inventory to that order, so you know how much is still available in your inventory to take more orders. But what happens if you receive an order for which you do not have enough inventory to fulfill it? What you do in that case depends on your business model. You can refuse that order, which is bad, or you can take it, knowing that while you do not have the merchandise, you can get it or manufacture it or even drop ship it from one of your providers directly to the customer. When that happens, that you accept the order even if you don't have enough inventory. The order will be placed totally or partially on back order, meaning that you will need to do things in order to fulfill it and ship it to the customer. That process is called procurement. Good ERP packages will let you know what do you need to do in order to procure what you must ship. But an excellent ERP package will automatically execute the procurement by creating purchase order or work orders depending on how the products for which you do not have enough inventory were set up to be procured. But don't worry about that, because we will see more about the procurement process in a video dedicated to that topic. The only thing that is left to say here is that the sales order does not just record the sale in your database. It starts the process, which sometimes is complex, that will need to be followed in order to be able to ship what was sold on time, and finally to bill the customer and collect for what was sold. And this was Brau sharing my knowledge with you. Thanks for watching and have a great day.